What's going on? It's Mike, Real Sports Life on all platforms. Welcome to another episode of MCTV. Today we're going to be checking out Wodemaya and a special former security guard in the UK who's now a land developer in his own country. Let's get into it.
Hajji Bakaluwa, based here in Uganda. I'm a guy who worked as a security guard in the UK for 19 years. Wow. And then I was like, hey, I've had enough. I need to go back where I belong. This is Africa. This is Uganda, where my love is, my motherland. I came in back here, realized that there was a problem in construction. There were many Ugandans working in diaspora, and they wanted to construct. They wanted to do something back home, but they were afraid. They couldn't do it. Many people were eating their money. Aha. And I thought to myself, this must be an opportunity.
Smart man.
And I said to myself, listen, if you want to make it in life, look for a problem. And when you see the problem, just come up with a solution. For the last 2 years since I opened up my company, I've constructed over 200 structures for people I've never met. They only see me on social media.
That's crazy.
This is my story, and I've made it. You can make it. Africa is wonderful.
I can't believe that I'm meeting you. Because everyone is saying, Maya, if you need a real Ugandan story, a real Ugandan diaspora story, I have to meet you.
You need to meet Hajji Vakalwa. He's the guy with the story. I'm glad.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too, my brother.
The way people are telling me to meet you, which means your whole story will inspire the entire diaspora to return back to the motherland. How long have you been back?
I've been here for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
And you built a mall in 2 years?
Yeah, I've built a mall. I've built 10 other apartments as well. That's for myself. And before that, I had 35 apartments. And that was before I left London.
No. You
did getting all that bag in London.
2 years?
In 2 years. In 2 years.
Were you born in Uganda?
Yes, I was. I was born here. I left Uganda when I was 19. And I stayed in the UK for another 19. So my life has been 50-50. But my heart remained in Uganda completely. I never connected with the UK. Never.
Before I continue, if you've done all this in 2 years, when I came to this country, I realized that so many people are telling me that anyone who makes it big in Uganda is a friend of Museveni. I don't laugh. Are you a friend of His Excellency?
If everyone who makes it here is a friend to the president, he must be having many friends. Because we have many billionaires here who are quiet. You never even get to hear of them. Come on, people are making it. And when I sold out my story, actually, the first thing I started doing is trying to change people's minds. I tried talking to them. Now, what you're hearing, that is a poor mindset. You know, in your mind, if you cannot make it, if you don't see it for yourself, you cannot see it for others. So when others make it, you're like, nah, it's impossible. It is impossibility all filled up in your mind. Come on, you must be having the same story actually as well on your side. Who's Wade? What is he trying to do? He's nothing.
Because I can't believe it. All the stories that I've done, incredible stories, but anytime I post the stories, people are like, this person is in bed with the government. And I don't see it that way because I see people who started from scratch.
Well, on your side, who's Wade? What is he all those people with cameras?
He's nothing.
All content
because
creators.
I can't believe it. All the stories that I've done, incredible stories, but anytime I post the stories, people are like, this person is in bed with the government. And I don't see it that way because I see people who started from scratch and they've made it big in the country. Why you left London in the first place?
I started, you know, when I was up there, I was a security guard. I had a lot of time to read. And I used to read a lot of inspirational stories. I saw people who came from scratch to being from rags to riches. And I thought to myself, I think I can do it. So from the word go, I was enriching my mind with good ideas. I knew it was possible, and I wasn't letting anyone tell me that it wasn't. So from the word go, all the money I had, the little I had, I was already planning it. You know, what is making people not make it in life is just living a life without a goal, life without a purpose, life without direction. From the word go, I had my direction. Actually, it doesn't matter how much money you're earning. What you need is a goal. Once you believe in your goal and you're going to go for it, no one is going to stop you. Trust me, there's nothing waiting for you apart from success. That's what I had for 19 years. And along the way, as you try to make it, the difference between someone who's going to make it and someone who's not going to make it is consistency. And for 19 years, I was like, listen, I'm going to make it in real estate. The reason why people are failing to make it in real estate is lack of consistency, because it takes a lot of time. Someone who genuinely makes it in real estate, you have to be able to withstand 10 years of pain, of discipline. And I had to do it for 19 years. Come on, what was left apart from success? So 19 years.
19 years.
19 years. And actually, I never saw myself in the UK. I was there, but my heart was in Africa. I knew there was no way out. Come on, I read stories. The difference between us and people who fail to make it, they don't analyze, they don't understand stories. I had seen people there from university, they go, they get good jobs, they go on finance, they end up having lots of loans.
Units are like perched above the building.
That's their life. They are captured. They become prisoners for years. I've seen suicide stories. People are committing suicide. Why? They don't have way out. It's like working, going back home, working, going back home.
I did all the jobs. Cleaning, working in factories, all of that, I did it. But what I realized is the money is not even enough to save. It's not even enough to save for you to do something here, even if you're working double shifts, because the tax is very high and the cost of living is very high. So on average, everyone ends up borrowing money to survive or to want the nicer things.
And I said to myself, listen, actually there's one quote I read. I wasn't born to go work, pay bills, and die. I was like, listen, I think this is what I'm doing. I have to change it. It's not working, pay bills, die. Here I am in Africa. You called me last night. You said you wanted to meet me. Here I am. I'm living my life, my own terms. I can be where I want, with who I want, anytime. This is the freedom. It's until you make it, until you test that freedom. That's when you know that, listen, it was worth it. I can wake up anytime I want. That's what I want.
What did your friends tell you when you went?
I think there's a sub-message in there. Like, a lot of times you may have talent in something, but you aren't where you can monetize or use that talent. And a lot of people are afraid to jump into new situations and new spaces, but that may be where their success lies. And, you know, he was very fortunate that he could go back to Uganda and monetize his dreams and aspirations and goals. But sometimes you may just have to get up and change cities, change states, go where the opportunity is so you can maximize your output.
To leave the UK?
I said earlier, someone who doesn't see it for themselves, they can't see it for you. And let me tell you,
hello,
the people who believe in you last will be the people who know you. Preconceived notion of someone. For you, the people who believe, who don't believe who you are, like how big you are you a family? Are you friends? Why? They saw you as a little boy. They saw you begging for $1 or $2. Exactly. They saw you going to the well. And they're like, who's this guy? And whatever you're trying to do, they're just like, that guy, he's got too much here. Oh, who does he think he is? To them, what they believed in me or what they spoke about me, it didn't matter to me. This happens to everyone. So to them, it was theirs. And what I did, I think I heard Steve Harvey say it, the quickest way to destroy a dream is to tell a big dream.
Small-minded person.
So you are busy going around telling people, I need to do this and that. Come on, they don't see it. They are not seeing the larger picture. So when you force it into their brains, what's left apart from destroying it? So I was doing it, and the job I was doing wasn't one of the biggest jobs. Come on, I was a security guard.
For 19 years?
For 19 years. I never changed the job. I was doing the same job. But listen,
wow.
I had laid out my plan. I knew exactly what I was making. I knew my transportation. I knew what I was paying, all my bills, and I knew my balance. So I was working on the balance. And every 4 months, I had made it that I was coming back to Africa. So I was always in the know of what was happening here. That's why even when I came back, it was so easy for me to integrate.
How easy was it?
It was easy. Listen, the first thing you need to do in life is to believe in yourself. This is something you're not going to get in class. It is something your parents are not going to instill in you. It's going to be you. The day you wake up and know that life is 100% my responsibility. Life, no one, you see, there are people out there who are saying, oh, we are waiting for this government to come. Oh, I wish this government could do this and that. There was an American president during his inauguration. He said that this is not time for you to ask what the country can do for you. It's time for you to ask what you can do for the country. So it's not what others can do for you. It's you. Listen.
It's interesting, the things we pick up and the things we internalize from our own perspective. And I think that's the most important thing to note there, from our own perspective. That was interesting.
You go back in your bed, it's those questions. Normally, I summon myself in a meeting, personal meeting. I summon myself. Listen, yes, we need to sit down. And I speak to myself. What's my relationship with my future, with my money? It's me. And I go through that conversation myself. Because the best conversation you can have is the conversation you have with yourself. So I make sure that I always review what I'm thinking, what I'm planning, and that is by myself. I make my decisions, I'm ready for the repercussions, and what happens in the end. Once you know what's exactly happening in your life, you see, you don't allow things to happen to you. You make things happen. That's the road
That's something also that I think gets in the way of a lot of people trying things or pursuing their goals and dreams, is they're afraid to fail or afraid to come up short of what they initially think the goal is. But the goal might change as you're pursuing it. You may supersede whatever your initial goal was, or you may come up short, but figure out a better way to get there on the next attempt. So what he's saying is absolutely true. A lot of times people have to get out of their own way and be willing to try.
I sit down on a daily and I review my life, and I do it. That's why people are saying that, oh, you
man has a compound.
Make it. Come on, he must be connected. Listen, people tend to mix they tend to mix what they want to be with the how. That's where they fail. You must know what you are or what you want to be without mixing how. Once you know that I want to be this, I want to be known as the most famous YouTuber in Africa, you make that decision. It's done. It's done. It's done. Then the how will come. But during the process, once you go on mixing them, your subconscious mind keeps on pulling you back. Listen, I'm a small boy from Ghana. Who will know me? Come on, there are many people out there who are doing it. It's that conversation you have with yourself. No one stops you. So just imagine if you met 2 people in a day and you told them what you're going to do and they told you that you can't do it. Listen, 10 years, who knew that you were going to be here? Who knew that you were going to fly?
No.
Now, tell me who believed in you in the beginning? They are crazy. Listen, even they were like, this guy, I don't know why he went to China. I don't know why he had all this education. He should be putting on a suit, going to the city, looking for a job. What is he trying to do? Going in front of the camera, trying to talk to everyone in the world? Is he crazy? His parents must be sick. Oh, they must be crying. They made a loss.
Exactly.
But hey, even your parents didn't know what you're going to be. So it's a matter of believing in yourself.
Before coming here, which means you've saved a lot of money to come and invest in your first project in here.
Actually, I saved some money at the beginning of 2003.
Okay.
I came back. You know, in real estate, you know how property tend to increase in terms of value. I bought this place like 1.5 years ago. But if you go back and evaluate it, just 18 months is not of the same value.
Exactly.
Okay? Now, I bought my first property after spending like 2 years in the UK. I was being paid the minimum wage. But the first thing is knowing all the information you need in the sector you're going to be investing in.
Yeah.
So I knew exactly what I wanted. That's why even the little I had, I was valuing it. Okay? I came in here, I bought my first property. I think in today's equivalency, it's around 1,200. But after like 10 years, I sold it at 160 million, which is like 17 grand.
Wow.
That is Great Britain pound.
Exactly. Appreciating.
Yeah. It appreciated. In real estate, it's about being patient, being strategical and being patient. People think that they are going to wake up one day, they buy a prime land and then they start constructing. No, that is not an advice I'm going to give someone who's trying to make it. Okay? In Africa, if point A is developing, just know that point B is going to be developing very time soon. And then point C will follow. Now, what you need to do is to go in point B and buy a piece of land. If you cannot afford point B, go to C. That means you just have to wait a bit longer, but it's going to happen. Listen, land does not produce.
Yeah.
But human beings produce. So the population, the demand is going to be there. It's a matter of thinking about it.
I'm seeing a common theme with this guy.
And that piece of land, which I bought so cheaply, actually I kept on coming back here and I saw the guys I left who were still here struggling. They had made it and I was like, how did they make it? Listen, I go to England, Queensland, and I come back, these guys are driving Range Rovers. What's going on? What's going on? Now, in Africa, when someone makes it, instead of you coming close to them, asking them, like, listen, man, how do you make it? They start envying. It's everywhere. It's into us. It's inbuilt in us.
Remember, like, subscribe, share this video, support the channel. Stay tuned for part 2 tomorrow. Catch you on the next one.
Look.